Hi, I'm Jay, and this is Village Creek State Park. For the third consecutive morning, a beautiful fog enshrouds the land, and this morning, I'm going to do something about it. While the field offers a glimpse of tall pine trees emerging from the fog, I don't think I can go wrong with a painting of a view of Village Creek itself, facing either direction. I'll have to watch my step as well as leaving paddling and fishing for another day because things are changing fast. I don't want to be too sobering, but life is fleeting. Boy, if you want to paint an early morning effect like the sunrise or the mist, you got to come ready. And I'm a little late to the game, but I'm going to try to capture the scene that I saw when I arrived. So, time to paint a misty morning. I'm going to modify this view, taking it back to the more hazy and gray version I saw when I first arrived. If I were a betting man, I'd wager that the scene will depart even further from that idea as the morning goes on. I brought one set of primaries for this tour of the South Piney Woods region, so it's the same as my videos of Fort Boggy, SFA, and Brazos Bend: cadmium yellow light, alizarin crimson, and cyan phthalo. But for this painting, I'll lean more heavily on my neutrals, mixing up cool and warm grays with ivory black, burnt umber, and titanium white. Establishing the big idea quickly is important, and it's helpful to remember that things are changing, so there's no point in focusing on small details at this stage. The raw paper is quick to soak up the oil paint, but I can still get some softer blends, and I frequently rely on really thin washes of paint. This 8-second clip isn't sped up, so you can see how quickly the day is changing. The sky is much more blue and the water is more reflective, but I have to ignore that and focus on my recollection of the early morning fog. I'm smooshing the paint around because I want the edges to be soft and fuzzy, and I even decide that I like the look of rubbing away some of the paint and smearing it around with a paper towel. Using the map is kind of unusual because in certain areas like this, I was adding more paint to cover up more of the text. And yet, as you look at it in the camera or from a distance, the text has a certain sense of ripples in the water. For some reason, the brushwork in the sky I like better than down here where it's just text, so I left it sort of a thin wash. And there are other areas where right here on the sandbar, it's just a lot of the map is showing through, but for some reason I like it and it works. So I'm going to leave all that. A couple things I am going to do, I really like those light tree trunks, and I'm going to bring those in here, but I want to keep it kind of fuzzy and kind of vague. So we're nearing the end. It's nice to be able to do some effects with the palette knife, scraping away the paint. I admit that it's something of a luxury when it comes time to clean up, and I don't have to be careful in my packing because it's just a few short steps to the car. With the painting complete, it's time to sample some trails. At first I thought I might try to hike every trail in the park, since the longest one listed is 2.4 miles. But when I added up all the 0.1 miles and quarter miles and half miles, the total ended up being 9.7. So I'll content myself with just a few miles and a bit of a workout on the fitness trail. Only 4. I haven't been running on this trip, and at first I was a bit confused as to why, and then I realized that this is the first time in 6 months that I haven't been pouring sweat at a standstill, so I thought it might be nice just to enjoy a hike and not work up a sweat. Side effect, I've had a shirt on for every instance of filming these parks. I hope I never get tired of relaxing in a Texas river, lake, or creek and just enjoying this beautiful serenity. The scene has changed quite a bit, so here's a comparison of how I'm leaving the park versus my painting, or how I came to the park. As I scratch off Village Creek, I see only a handful of parks left to visit in the southeast corner of the state. I hope you join me as I check them off in a future episode.